When COVID hit us in South Africa in the early part of last year, none of us quite knew what to expect. It was almost like sailing a ship as we were building it. And as the president of our country locked down all the churches and we had to suspend church services, what did we do? Most of us went into our cave, so to speak, into our homes, and we started slowly but surely doing things from our homes, including church services, recording sermons, etc. But then came Easter, and one of our field workers, Pinky Libala, went off to go and investigate and to find out what was happening to some of our clients, our elderly clients in the township, in Walmer Township, Gqeberha. And she found that she went to visit one, that these folk were starving. Now we look after just under 20 families through our outreach project to the elderly. And so that kind of triggered something within us. We can't just stand still, be at home and pull up these barriers, pull up these walls around us. We have to get out there. And Pinky and her team decided there and then that they needed to start again our soup kitchen. Now, I understand the soup kitchen is a permanent facility. We've been running it for many, many years. And we've been feeding anything up to 500 to 1,000 people a week. And so it was being missed. And so we started up the soup kitchen again. She managed to get all of the other field workers together and they all agreed to go in and start up the soup kitchen again. It was driven by them. And then one of my colleagues went along to the first few times we started feeding people again. And there he saw that these young children were so hungry that they were actually smashing sandwiches and bread into their mouth. It was that desperate. And so that triggered a lot of our feeding schemes and a lot of what we needed to do. We started not only the soup kitchen, and we got wonderful donations from not only in cash but in kind as well. We started a feeding project through sandwiches from around the city, from different denominations, people who don't even go to church. Muslims were supplying us with food, Jews were supplying us with food. It was wonderful organic outreach. And that's what excited me about the pandemic in some ways, is that God is still alive, God is still working. And the words of the prophet Micah come to us to love justice, to really look for mercy and to walk humbly with our God. And that was what really started us off and kicked us into doing more and more of these projects. And as we know, and as you'll see in this recording, is that we've done that. From the soup kitchen, which has grown, from the feeding project through the sandwiches, which has grown, through the food parcels, which have grown, through what we call our backdoor ministry, which is the indigent, those that live rough on the streets, they come to us as well. These are all ministries that have grown. So God has grown His church during this time in a very organic way, a very simple, humble, ex-church kind of way. But it is incredibly exciting for all of us who are involved.
The sandwich making project was a real blessing to me. The absolute need, when we saw those long queues of people lining up for food on TV and so on, and we heard of the desperation of people, I think there were so many people who felt that they had to do something about this. I was just overwhelmed by people's generosity and people wanting to give. You know, the project just came together. And in no time at all, within a week, we had people offering to do collections from all different parts of Port Elizabeth. You know, it was just wonderful. And one thing led to another good thing. You know, we got a whole lot of porridge donated. We got a ton of porridge donated for St. John's and a whole lot more for the other parishes in the diocese. And that was just wonderful from non-St. John's people. And I got to know so many wonderful people. It just restored my faith in humanity and the people of Port Elizabeth. So it really was a blessing. And then to go to the soup kitchen and see the need amongst the people. I mean, that was, you know, heart-wrenching, and I just thank God that, you know, I could be involved in something like this.
We're blessed for what we are doing, knowing that there are people that are hungry there, and they are grateful to get the bread and the soup each and every day to feed their children. And the carers, what they are doing going to houses after feeding the people at the soup kitchen to take the food to our elderly that are at home, knowing that they don't have food. And then we've got our elderly project, Ruth Project. Those elderly people, they are depending on us, giving them the food parcel once a month. That is the thing that I am trying each and every day to do it, knowing that we've got people that are hungry and they are grateful to have these things that we are giving them. And we are so blessed with doing that, because now we know that there is this pandemic, but we're still alive because of the graceness of the God that is keeping us healthy and alive. You see, even those that are at soup kitchen, they're looking forward to Monday to get the bread. Till some of them, they don't even have something on weekends, you see. You go there, when I pass there around about 8 o'clock, there are some people that are still waiting. They're already there, waiting to get the bread at 10 o'clock, you see, waiting for 2 hours to get the bread. It means they are in need. They are in need of that. So we're so thankful to St. John's for providing things for our people at the Walmer location.
Obviously, we've done this ministry together for a long time. We're passionate about it.
It's such a lovely time when we're all together, packing and joking and laughing, and yet doing a wonderful ministry. We're very aware of in the country we live in, of the extreme poverty. And I think to reach out as a church, as a Christian church, is wonderful, because it's feeding people, but it's also showing them the love of Christ in reaching out to them.
The people who receive are usually very grateful, not always, but yes, the poverty that exists out there is I don't think many people actually understand, because they actually don't see it face to face. It's a huge problem, and people, you often see people digging in rubbish bags for food. And so despite the rush around every month to get it all together, we find it very gratifying. We will go away today feeling, wow, we've now done another month of feeding of hundreds of people. It's been a heart exercise for us.
2 kinds of parcels that we distribute from the Gate Ministry, in addition to counselling and any other kind of support, even if it's a glass of water on a very hot day. We've been able to process a lot of referrals for people, whether it's for housing, whether it's for grants, whether it's maybe just an appointment at a doctor for some mental health support. The work that we do doesn't just feed people, but it builds their self-esteem, and particularly their self-esteem, knowing how precious they are in God's eyes.
The Gate Ministry has changed my life. I didn't realize that there are so many people that are hungry out there, because we are not only giving food, we are also doing counseling with them. They have so many problems. So I've learned a lot from these people that are living on the street. To work with them is very nice, learning to appreciate people as they are, instead of taking them for granted.
Then the King will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" The King will reply, "Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me."